Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bhatta. He made my work easier by introducing everybody. I'm glad to be here as a moderator. And because this is a session after lunch and we are closing. And we are relaxed for several reasons today. I think this discussion is going to be more relaxing. And I personally hate to be very formal, although I look really serious kind of guy. The title is AI Horizons, Navigating Opportunities and Challenges in the Digital Frontier. While coming in this hall and looking around, I felt like we are both a kind of very paradoxical population here, in terms of being both the prosecutors and perpetrators. So far as AI use is concerned, I was thinking about myself being a teacher and a teacher of so many teachers who are present here. We complain a lot thinking that our students don't really study this data and issues. And my students complain about their students. Everybody complains about a widespread so-called pollution by artificial intelligence. Basically, the ChatGPT being a savior, taken as a savior for homeworks and so many things. And I read somewhere, it's a kind of cautionary note to all of the English teachers, because most people are thinking AI, basically ChatGPT or Copilot, it is snatching our job. Because we are teaching how to write an essay or a poem, that's exactly done by that thing called ChatGPT. Anyway, there's a lot of hue and cry about what will happen, about the third industrial revolution or third world war that will be caused by artificial intelligence. And question about the plight of human thinking, whether it is going to be as it used to be, glorified as it used to be, or our existence as thinkers would remain shaky throughout the ages to come. So many things to consider. But we probably will not complain a lot today or think. Right? So I'm so glad to be among these stalwarts, to very technical people, so to say. And I'm glad to be with Professor Manish Pokhrel. We have never been together like this actually, in our 23, 24 years being in the same institution. So I have a very simple question to begin, but before that, let me set some rules which I hate to do. First question, I'm going to ask a very common one for all. I will request 4 minutes each. So the second question, one question each, 5 minutes. So 3 questions again, third is a common question, 4 minutes each. So to begin, very simple. As simple as this, how has AI impacted your work in particular? How do you perceive the practices of your colleagues and students? Typically as a teacher, I would start with Professor Chatterjee.
Hello, the learner audience. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I?
Yes.
Am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Yes.
Machine is not better than me. I had to make the machine. Machine did not make me. After my plenary speech the other day, I was surprised to get about 30 people asking me, "Sir, I am very afraid that AI will take my job." I tell you, that is not possible. We can never imagine a robot standing in your class, standing in the class of students and taking and teaching them. No, the students need you. Then what is AI? Why is AI? It is like this machine only, which only facilitated me so that I do not crack my voice at the end of the session. Without this machine, I would have cracked my voice. This helped me. But I am needed. Like that, the teacher is needed. First and foremost. How is AI helping me in my job? At a university level, number one, first at a university level, we are concerned with good teaching of the students. Here I will give you an example which I also gave during my plenary speech. I was interviewing an English teacher one day, and that teacher was speaking to me in Hindi. So I asked him that you should be speaking in English because you are going to teach the students English communication. So he said, sorry sir, I cannot do that because I was taught English in Hindi itself. Now that came to me as a surprise. So the teacher's problem should not be reflected upon the student's problem. So AI is there, and if you are a brilliant teacher, to make you even brilliant, AI is there. So, how is AI helping at a professional level of teaching? Number one, personalization. When we are teaching in a class, the class of students are not the same. There are many students who are excellent in understanding. There are many students who are weak in understanding. If we teach the weak students, the class becomes boring. If I teach the best students, the weak students become even boring because they don't understand anything. They lag behind. So, personalization software helps a lot in teaching the students in a way he or she will learn the best. And the teacher can help that purpose by identifying the students with the help of some AI software that where a particular student is lagging and helping him accordingly with the necessary materials. I will tell you a name like Adaptivity. Adaptivity is a software which you people can start using. Try it because it is going to help you a lot in understanding the student's problems and accordingly delivering him or her with the lecture. Another software which I will tell you is Babbel. You can, or Duolingo, you must be, many of you must be using. Believe me, it will help you a lot in delivering the lecture in the way your students are understanding the best. I think I'm clear about it. Last point, at my personal level, how AI is helping me. You know that when I go through the classes, when I wander about in the classes, I often used to feel that these students, the exam hall specifically or something like exam hall, or maybe when the teachers are teaching, often the students are not concentrating. Or exam integrity sometimes is not held up to the level because of some lack of seriousness from the teachers sometimes. I don't get into complications, but sometimes it happens. Now, exam integrity through plagiarism detection software is absolutely a new thing which you can definitely use. After checking the answer scripts yourself, you can feed the answer scripts easily to a plagiarism detection software to understand that whether those things, whether the answers were answered at his or her own level. And the last thing I will tell, facilities management, status of power, Wi-Fi, everything is being helped with AI, along with the last point, chatbots. The students who are facing problems in a class, they do not say anything, they are afraid to say. And the students who are good in the class, they always raise their hands and say. What happens as a result? We start teaching the best of students in the class. Now, chatbots help the students to give their feedbacks at the end of the class or when they are at their residences. From that feedback, we can analyze and accordingly help out the students who are having problems. So these are the few things which I will say how AI is helping me and the university as a whole.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you framed in such a way that you are in a position to celebrate both AI or technology and the human thinking. So anyway, I'll come to that later. So there's just one thing that should breathe these two. We are complaining a lot, these two going separately, right? So I'll come, I think the last question will be something like that. So my question about how has AI impacted your work in particular, and how do you see the works of your colleagues in the workplace? So Professor Maria, over to you on that.
Namaskar, everyone. So, when I was reading your question, how has AI impacted my work in particular? I remember this was November, at the end of November of 2022, that ChatGPT was made available to the public. And I remember me sitting in front of the computer saying, what does this do? Let's check it out. My first goal was to understand what this machine was doing, first and foremost. And then I found out that, it gives me answers in less than certain seconds, right? Or it gives me a list of things. The first thing that I ask is, give me ideas of what to do to celebrate Thanksgiving. And it gave me like 20 ideas. I said, wow, immediately. I was impressed. Then I said, okay, I want more. How about if you give me synonyms of these kind of word that I'm trying to use, but I cannot come up with a particular synonym. And then he gave me like 40 in one go. I said, this is wonderful. I like it. But then I said, okay, write an essay. I wanted to push it. Write an essay about the differences between the city and the countryside. And he wrote me an essay, perfectly done essay, but it was an essay that was very artificial. It was too much of a Hollywood scene that doesn't really reflect the realities of the people from the city and the countryside. And then there was also a lot of information there that was not real. And then I said, I got you. So the first thing that I do is, what does this do? And it really, AI was, what it was doing is, what it does, really. It's a machine that has a whole lot of data of language and is good at filling the blanks. That's what it does. That's all that it does. So how did it impact it, coming back to your question, my classroom? For sure, the cheating thing. Everybody talks about AI is how to avoid the cheating, how to avoid the students and everything. But what AI made it clear is that I want my students to be able to go through the process of writing, and that process of writing has to be done in the classroom. Because there is a level of imperfection. And let me tell you, what do I mean by that? When we are learning a language, we go through a process that is based on imperfections, not on a clear, clean, process that is actually doing it for you. So the conclusion was for me is, okay, I need to redo my questions. And I need to do it more in a way that they can reflect or they can show me process, rather than just an outcome that they can find on AI. So I needed to do that. And the motto here is, and I'm not denying AI has tremendous potential, but we have to be very careful because the language, and remember, at this moment, is monocultural. So there are things that also AI makes up. It makes up a lot of stuff. So teachers need to understand what AI is. Teachers cannot run away from AI. I will never recommend that because it will do more damage. But teachers need to understand that it is the moment in which there is a responsibility to rescue, in a way, the human aspect of our classes and provide our classes is going to become even more urgent, becoming the center which they can really engage with the language and go through these imperfections, because from the imperfection is where they're going to learn. I'm actually very interested in investigating if AI is really helping students learn a language. And research right now is in its infancy. We don't know a lot about that. So at this moment, how AI has impacted my work in my classroom is pretty much kind of trying to reassure me of what my classroom should be, and it should be with engagement with that, with the process of learning a language that comes from within, rather than just the technology.
Thank you, Professor. One interesting point you raised is, in a sense, making become more focused to the human aspect of the classroom, and even trying more to understand how students learn language and other things, and how AI can be a kind of, let's say, a companion together, not actually dismissing its the possibility of its impact on the people's life. Thank you very much.
Can I say that? It's actually doing it with you, not for you. And I think that captures. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I will not add anything for Professor Pokhrel, because you've already heard two people, and you must be somehow torn between celebrating it or somehow being between deserved about. Anyway, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, we do believe that our university, like artificial intelligence, has to be there. And as a teacher of the computer science, I have used the potential of AI to deliver my lectures to my students. At the same time, I have another capacity as a dean. So working in the administrative work also, we have explored of using the potential of artificial intelligence at our university. We do not scare of AI, because the AI, as our person has said, AI is not here to kill us. AI is not here to replace us. AI is here to empower us. So that is the message that I give to my colleague. And the colleague, and at the same time,
Forbidden. I don't want AI. Or the other side is, oh, I'm all AI. AI is great. I think whoever is at risk are those that position themselves on the ends of this spectrum. I will never recommend that, and maybe for our we language teachers, because AI is all about language. These are language learning machines, correct? So it is important that we understand what this technology does, understanding also that this technology is not able, and just taking back to your point about the fear of losing our jobs. AI doesn't use language in the way we use language. It's not. This is just a machine without feelings, without creativity, really. And it is us that really we need to interact, contextualize. That those are things that these machines don't really do.